Let's keep it moving, fellas. We're going to Sunday. We're going to the Rams. They're taking on the Eagles. The Rams are coming in 10-7. They're 5-3 on the road. They just had a very impressive win last weekend over the Minnesota Benz. Eagles on the other side have been fantastic as well. Well, not really, to be honest with you. Their defense played well, but Jalen Hurts had a pretty iffy first-round game there. Jammer, we're going to start with you. What do you like in the Rams-Eagles first Sunday game? And we're getting into the NFC action. Jammer. Can you hear me?
Jammer went MIA.
I don't think Jammer
we
hears
were talking
me.
about, yep. There's a little laggy there for me, but
Sorry.
No, I'm here. I was just a little laggy there for me, but we were talking about weather earlier in the show, and this is the game that I'm worried about the weather the most. We talk about Rams. They play out in LA, obviously. They don't get to play outdoor games a lot. I think they had maybe 1 or 2 games that were, cold. But this week in Philly, it's going to be cold. It's going to be low 30s, high 20 degrees. And this is a team that I just don't know if they're ready to play in this cold weather. So I've all season said that this Eagles team might be the best team in the NFC, might even be the best team in the entire NFL. They have one of the best running attacks. They got some freak athletes at the receiver position. You got A.J. Brown reading books on the sidelines. He's just so unbothered by what's going on the field. So this week I could see the Rams trying to completely sell out and shut down the run game, which is going to put a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts. But I think that he is just completely built for the playoffs. Like we've been saying all show, it's the era of the mobile quarterback, and he is probably one of the quintessential guys in the NFL at doing that outside of Lamar Jackson. We saw the Rams defense last week get pressure on Sam Darnold. They ended the game with 9 sacks, but I do think that this Eagles offensive line is better. They're one of the better offensive lines in the league, and Jalen Hurts, he's built to avoid those rushers and being able to create plays with his legs. So I'm liking Philly on the spread here. It's the first spread I'm actually going to take. I like Philly -6, 6.5, whatever you want to take it at. And building off all those great, wonderful things I had to say about Philly, I think they absolutely are going to dominate time of possession. And their defense is just about as dominant as any team in the league, leading in many categories, and they're top 10 in just about every other category you could think of. And another thing for the Rams, though, they struggle once they get to the red zone with the 25th ranked red zone offense going up the 5th ranked red zone defense in Philly. So I'm going to be all over this Rams team total under 18.5. Like I said before, this Rams team has not had many opportunities to play outdoors in the cold environment. Obviously, Matthew Stafford played in Detroit, but that's an indoor stadium. He probably paid some kid to shovel his driveway. He's not built for this weather. So I don't know how much scoring they're going to get done. And just one other play that's just kind of like a for fun play. I need me some Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown, but we spoke about it earlier. It's -170. So either you're going to use that as a parlay piece, or for me, I'm going to get a little bit more frisky with it. I'm going to take a Saquon Barkley anytime first half touchdown at +155. I think he's going to get in. He hasn't scored in the last couple of weeks. He's been one of the hottest touchdown props. He could have scored last week, but he took that little dive. Everyone was mad about that on Twitter, X,
which was ridiculous. It was the absolute right decision. Win the game, go down.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, they show the little clip of just nobody anywhere near him. He's taking the slide. Just end the game. You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to give the other team any kind of chance. And even if it's a 1% chance, you don't give it to them. You just end the game.
You go down there, you have a 100% chance to win the game. 100% chance to win the game is something I'd like to do if I was on that team. So,
Yeah. So just to get a little, fun in, we're gonna take Saquon Barkley anytime first half touchdown. You could do the parlay if you want to do Saquon anytime touchdown and maybe pair with one of those other first teams that we talked about. But I'm liking the Eagles to win this game. I think it's just the home field advantage, the weather, just them being all around better than the Rams. So That's all
I have
I
a
got.
question for you. I have a question for you. You said that you believe in Jalen Hurts. He's going to be a good time playoff quarterback. He was crap last week. I mean, he had 130 passing yards. The offense was not moving fluently. He did have 2 touchdowns to no interception, so that he did well. But is anybody fearing this Eagles offense after last week's performance? Is it just me who thinks that the Eagles were a little lackluster, where maybe Green Bay should have won that game if Jordan Love didn't have some of the worst interceptions I've ever seen? The Green Bay defense kept them in that game all game long. And to me, I wasn't super impressed with the Eagles. Does anyone feel the same way? Ben, how do you feel about that? After watching them in the first game, were you more a believer in the Eagles or more of a doubter of the Eagles after that performance?
Yeah, I mean, I think you get 4 turnovers. You expect to win a game every time, and they won by 12. So they should have won by more for sure. You got to think like that defense is absolutely keeping you in it the whole time for the Packers, and they just couldn't get it done. Like you said, like Jordan Love just looks so bad. And, I just think it comes down to I don't know how well they really had to play. Like, I get you want to see a better win. You want to see Jalen Hurts maybe pass a little bit more, But like you said, he stayed away from mistakes. The Eagles didn't have a turnover. He threw for 2 touchdowns without throwing a pick, which for him has been kind of the theme for Jalen Hurts because that dude's thrown 1 pick since week 4 of the NFL. 1 interception. He has stayed so well just taking care of the ball and doing exactly what they need to. Hand off to Saquon Barkley, do the tush pushes on 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2, or, just go into A.J. Brown. It's just they're doing what they need to, and they make it look so effortless that I think we're taking away from the fact that they didn't win by more instead of just saying they won game by 12. And it was close, but it never really felt that close of a game because Jordan Love, like the Packers just weren't getting it done. Maybe the Eagles could do that, but to Jammer's credit, they're going to have bad weather here. These guys played, in mid-November, and Saquon Barkley had the best game of his career with 255 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 72-yard rush. So I don't know what the Rams have to do something different here in this game. And I think that's going to be selling out on Saquon Barkley, especially if the weather's bad, like Jammer said. I think they're going to absolutely sell out on Saquon Barkley, which actually brings my favorite play to Jalen Hurts. Over 203.5 passing yards. I understand that's going to be a very questionable play to a lot of people, but you didn't have to pass in the regular season. How many games, meaningless games against the Panthers, really bad teams, Dallas, Jacksonville, like, sure, he didn't go over in those games. He didn't need to. You hand the ball off to Saquon 30 times, boom, you're good. The Rams looked so good last week, and I think they're going to really try and sell out and stack the box and stop the run, and they're going to put it into Jalen Hurts' hands. And he hasn't been making mistakes this year, so I think they're going to actually let him pass in this game. You have Devontae Smith, you have A.J. Brown, you have the receivers you can. Dallas Goedert's banged up. I think he'll probably still play. So you have a mostly healthy receiving room. I really think this is a game where he does use his arm a little bit more. And 203.5 is a very, very low line for a quarterback. I understand we're talking about Jalen Hurts here, and he's gone under this line a lot this season. But this seems like a game where he'll go over against the Rams.
I respect that. JD, what do you think about this game?
No, this is a breakdown that I'm going to do, and it's going to be the first time that I've ever said this. But to just actually start off here, I have been on the Eagles this year so much, and actually so many different ways. Played them first half, played their team totals, full games. Anyway, been on them. But coming into this game, after especially what I saw this past week, I wanted to be on the Rams. I just like how they're going currently. I just like everything about them. Then breaking this game down, Philly, they have the advantages almost everywhere. This should be a Eagles game. And besides all that, I'm still afraid to play this game because as actually like all of us here, we've been watching this league for a long time, and there's nothing more than the NFL would like to see than those Rams win.
I don't know. I
really do.
They don't have any fans. Like, nobody shows up to their home game. So to me, is Philly the more – I thought about this. Do you think they're really more polarizing and a bigger media story than the Eagles with Saquon and Sirianni and A.J.
Currently,
Brown?
yes.
I respect that.
Currently, yes. As far as the Rams, as far as their coach, I actually do think they have the way actually better coach here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
just everything to me is leading me to this game is just to stay away. I'm actually just not going to get involved here.
I liked it better when you were starting with that you like the Rams because I am on the Rams in this spot plus the 6.5. I agree with you. The Eagles are the better team. That doesn't mean they're going to cover a 6.5 point playoff line. I do not believe in Jalen Hurts. I'm just going to be honest with everybody. I'm not a huge Jalen Hurts guy. I never have been. I don't think he's the greatest quarterback. I don't think he's the worst quarterback. I think he's a serviceable starting quarterback in the league. And these type of performances we saw last week was a very disappointing Jalen Hurts. And I think we could see a very similar game here. I think the Rams are going to do a good job blitzing. We saw them have a great formula against Ben's Vikings, and I think they're going to deploy that same exact formula in this game. I do believe in Sean McVay. I made the mistake last week of not believing in Sean McVay and leaning with Kevin O'Connell. I'm not going to do that again. Sean McVay proved a lot to me last week. He's a guy who's been there and done it before. Like I said, I'm not sure if the Rams win this game outright, but I think this one does come down to the wire. Maybe a 5-ish point final, maybe a 3 in that 3 to 5 point range. But I do think the Rams are the right side in this game. David, I know you're going to be pissed at me. You said you're going to Philly. We're a little opposite today, so hopefully I'm right and you're wrong. But I absolutely love the Rams in this spot, and I am going to be taking the Rams plus the 6.5 points. Everybody go on this game? Who are we forgetting?
Yep.
Any
we're good.
props that we did not cover? I don't think we gave out many props in this game. I know Ben had a couple props, but does anybody else have any props before we move on to the final game of the divisional round? That's a negative.
The only thing I do have to say though, Alpha, is Jalen Hurts was coming off that concussion, so you gotta give him some time to recover.
I don't got to do anything. I don't got to do anything like that.
I'm just letting.
No, I understand that, but like I said, I don't believe in him when he's fully healthy anyway. I think Saquon carried this offense. I think Saquon's been the MVP of the NFL this season. I wish the MVP was not a quarterback award because I think Saquon was very deserving of the MVP. I think he is what carried that Eagles offense all year long, and I think he needs to be the focal point yet again. If it is going to be a game that the Eagles win by a lot, Saquon has to take over. I don't think it's a game that Jalen Hurts is going to dominate to get them to that point. So that's my take on that one.
Just something real quick. What do we think about Saquon's rushing prop? It is crazy high. 111.5, 112.5, depending on what you're looking at.
I think it's
in the playoffs. That is crazy.
I think he probably goes over with everything I said. I think they're going to have to force feed him the ball all game long. But yet again, doesn't mean they're going to cover just because he has that. So for me, I do like that under.
I think the Rams are going to absolutely sell out to stop him after the first game. That's how they lost the game. And that's exactly why I took my Hurts prop on the passing. I think they're going to he might get 25 attempts, but I still think he might go under just because they're going to have so many guys there. And I understand that Saquon Barkley is the guy that can break out all that, but
100%. JD, what do you think about the rushing prop? You don't have to take the over under on the firings. We already had one last weekend.
That number, I would just have to go under. I mean, actually, like unders are no fun to bet in props like that, but I mean, that number is once again, that's just crazy high.
It's been dropping all week. I saw it earlier at 115.5.
Yep, it has been going down. I think people have been hammering that under. I think it goes over, but that doesn't mean I'm going to bet it. It's one of those I'm definitely not going to bet, but I do think if gun to my head, I had to pick over, under, I'm taking over on that prop, but I'm not actually going to bet that.